Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to another episode of FU. This is Josh calling in, hot from the San Francisco Bay of California. I got Jeremy, my usual co-host, over there. Hey, yo.
Yo.
All of a sudden, I turned into Razor Ramon.
Yo, what it is?
Hey, yo. I'm not really good, and I'm always drunk.
Yo, Adrian.
Something like that. We got Dan, our usual friend, Kefka Floyd himself. How you doing, sir?
I'm not sure if I'm usual yet, but sure, why not?
I still need some coffee. I just brewed a whole bunch of it, so if we're not usual, we could go coffee up. That'll work.
Yeah, you don't want to be irregular.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that could be bad halfway through this episode. Everybody just gets the coffee creeps.
Yep.
I don't know what Sabrina's doing. She just... No, I didn't see any video. I don't want to see anything about coffee creeps.
Oh, I know what she's referencing.
Yeah, probably. And I got Roger, our usual tabletop friend, Savage World of MLP, over here. He's actually in the studio with me.
Yeah, I'm just kind of hanging out.
Yeah, we're going to do a tabletop after this, so we are going to talk in the second part of this about some Steven Universe, and we have all seen it. Dan, I have seen an appropriate amount of Steven Universe now.
Good.
I am not a heathen who has only seen one episode. I've seen like 5 or 6.
I'm the heathen. I've seen like 3 episodes, but it's really good.
At least you've seen some of it. That's progress.
Yes.
Well, then...
I was definitely intrigued.
Yeah. So, we will cover that. We will talk definitely about some Steven Universe and, you know, how just how interesting it is. So, I think that will be very good. First off, let's do a pretty, let's see what we've got here. Okay, so we got a gratuitous media consumption segment. We should probably just limit that down to one thing that everyone's doing.
Yeah, well, I only have like one thing, so...
Okay. All right, well, let's go ahead and move forward. Sandy, who is our lovely sponsor?
Folks over at WeLoveFine. For fans, by fans, you can use our coupon code Bronyville10 to save 10% on your orders. And holy Jesus, they just... Oh, wow. One of the Homestuck stuff has come out, and there's some sort of horrifying gangsta clown backpack. Oh my god, that's terrifying.
One of the characters supposedly, and you know what? At some point, we're going to have to cover Homestuck, I think.
I guess.
Yeah, but
Do we really?
it's just all right. Sabrina said no.
No.
Sabrina has stated no. I think we probably should at some point, just so we can have someone explain to us what is Homestuck and if we've heard about it.
What the crap is this? Thank you.
You're gonna like the way you look. I guarantee.
I don't.
Shots fired.
I know, really. I'm not going to say anything on that because I don't want to show any statement of how I feel about that. Let's see. Tauntaun hoodie they just came out with. You can look like the people from Vocaloid.
Yeah, because, you know.
Chrome horses. That's a new thing.
Are they like hood ornaments?
Yeah, the inside lining of the Tauntaun is guts. That's kind of weird in a gross way. Yeah, but that's WeLoveFine over at WeLoveFine.com. Bronyville 10 gets you 10% off, and we should probably get a FU 10 or something set up at some point. Maybe. We'll see. And Audio Stratus continues. That is my project that I am working on. That is over at audiostratus.com. Sign up if you do audio recording stuff online. If you simply use audio, it is a way to, you know, do it with multiple people online. If you can hear Sandy right now, he gets a little bit of distortion because of the Skype, and this is all a platform to mitigate any of the terrible distortion that you get by having to have a kludgy audio interface to record online. So, it's my baby. All right, let's see. Let's go ahead and move forward. Gratuitous media consumption segment. Jeremy, what do you got?
Well, I've currently been flipping through the Hyperbole and a Half, the book. If you guys haven't paid any attention to that, Hyperbole and a Half is the crudely drawn adventures of, it's like an art blog, kind of. It's like a Tumblr before Tumblr, I suppose.
Oh boy.
And they draw intentionally badly the incidences from their childhood. And they've written a book, and it's quite funny. And they've been going for quite a while. So if you want to just spend an afternoon or 3, you can read through the backlog of Hyperbole and a half, and maybe pick up the book.
It's
pretty funny.
It has a very oatmeal feel to it.
Yeah.
Kind of like Oatmeal meets Homestar.
Yeah, and you can go
with a shade of toothpaste for dinner.
Yeah, it's done by Ali Brosh.
That's very weird. That's very peculiar. It's all that MS Paint crazy style. Wow.
For something that's drawn, quote, poorly, it actually seems to have a pretty good foundation of perspective and relation and other things like that. You know, it's the thing about drawing poorly is that it's not something you can do easily. You know, it's to have something that looks lo-fi or bad, but still drags you in is definitely an art form in and of itself.
Yeah, clearly the artists are artists. They aren't just like people screwing around in MS Paint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or
like,
they
look
are
at that
screwing
lovingly
around,
drawn
but-
T-Rex.
Yeah. Yeah, the T-Rex is so weird because it's so... When the raptor is just so, like, detailed. I can't tell if it's just like, hey, I copy... No, it can't be, because why would you have just a picture of a raptor turning its head looking back at you? I don't know. It's bizarre.
Raptor Comics.
Okay, maybe. True.
And the best of on the side is really a good start. The a lot is pretty funny. I recommend it.
God of cake. Okay. All right. So that's over at hyperboleandahaf.blogspot.com. My stuff has been pretty standard and has been pretty... Well, game-wise, I've been playing a lot of Starbound, as I think everybody else has. I've gotten to the point that I need to go take out the Jelly Boss. Jelly Boss, and then, you know, just trying to experiment out. Mining on asteroids is hard, yo. Because everything murders you. And if you fall, you're dead. So,
yep.
That's been kind of crazy. But I still enjoy it. I need to start... I don't know at this point how I feel about mods. Like, there's so many cool mods where it's like... Give yourself a really crazy ship, or give yourself, you know, these weapons, and I just don't know like how comfortable I am at this stage in the game to just go mod crazy on that.
I have heavily modded mine, but it's not like, oh, get yourself 1,000,000 pixels, get this. Yeah, it's like I'm using the Mass Effect mod, which replaces a lot of the music. It replaces a lot of the. Gives you weapons and armor from the games. You know, the ship is the Normandy SR-1. So, like, when you stand at the CIC in, like, from the original game, it plays the star map music while you're selecting the next planet to go to.
Is that one?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's really nice. And they've really gone back and rebalanced it. The next thing they're adding to the mod is the Mako, which will be very exciting.
Oh, God.
Now you can see it freak out in 2 dimensions.
I can't get it to move.
Oh, God, it flipped upside down and exploded.
Thanks, Mako. I don't know. I did kind of enjoy those, and then they just got replaced by wandering around in the middle of the desert and just on planets for no good reason. Just huh. So, yeah, it was yeah, I just got to figure it out. And there's a whole bunch of like crazy races you can add. There's a crazy like cutesy raptor race that's like on top of the charts right now. Yes, cutesy raptors, they exist.
Somebody asked, why would you want to replace the music? Well, it doesn't entirely replace the music. It adds a bunch of music. So like if you're on an icy planet, it plays the music from Noveria, the ice planet from the first game. If you're on asteroids, it plays some of the music from Omega. So it's thematically correct.
See, if I was playing an Ice song, I would have it play Phendrana Drifts from Metroid Prime.
Oh yes, there are some Metroid mods, but they haven't done a TC yet. Even though there is a morph ball tech in the game.
You end up crafting something that's oh god, I'm just imagining you end up using the card to go to the next sector and it just it's like, oh god, that'd be pretty good. So yeah, I did that, and so Sabrina and I have started down our next terrible path of watching something until we are going to eventually get totally sick of it. And we have went and watched all the good Star Trek movies, all of the original generation. So 2 and 6? Well, we technically did 1. We did 2. We couldn't do 4 because it wasn't on streaming at the time because Space Whales, come on, you can't hate that. Also, for us in the San Francisco Bay, it's just like, hey, Monterey Aquarium. Yeah.
I will admit that movie does make almost no sense and is really weird, but it is fun.
Yeah. It's just kind of like, hey, watch as the Star Trek people pal around the San Francisco in the 80s. Watch as Chekhov goes and asks the shipman, where are your nuclear vessels?
They'll say nuclear vessels.
Nuclear vessels.
I always thought Wrath of Khan is great. I think my favorite one is 6, The Undiscovered Country.
That was pretty good. Yeah. That was 2. I actually really like 2 because for how old and weird Star Trek movies can be and how number 1 and how preachy it was, and let's not talk about The Search for God. But number 2 was just kind of like, it was smart. It was just like, let's keep the action going. Let's keep this interesting. Oh no, people, we don't know what sides people are on. And then, what are they going to do? They're going to have to be really crafty. Like, it was interesting because it's not something in the movies or at least in the show where you really saw kind of like Kirk be like, all right, we got this. Yeah. We got this.
And plus Ricardo Montalban just
that chest
knocks out of the. Yeah, I like he's got the Michael Jackson glove and like the shirt open just shows the 1 pec. Mm-hmm. It's a very Khan look.
Yeah. So we did that, and now we've started at season 1 of the Next Generation.
Oh no! So watching the show.
Yeah. So now we're doing the Next Generation and watching. And I almost at this point just go like, how many oh man, this is going to take forever. But just anytime it's just like holodeck episodes, skip.
Don't worry, like the first 2 seasons get kind of wonky. It starts to really pick up season 3. Season 4 is when the show gets really good.
Yeah, I didn't understand why people hated Natasha Yar. Now I know.
She's just like a non-entity most of the time. It was clear the writers like, I don't know, she's from a terrible place.
Yeah, it's just this thing of just like, hi, I'm security guard. Ah! Like
she also seemed like she was always like kind of out of sorts.
She was unhinged.
Yeah, it's weird.
She's weirdly unhinged. So yeah, once we get far enough in there, we'll probably move to the Next Generation movies. I'm actually really looking forward to do it. Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to the one that I always hear people say is really great and that I never actually had a long time to sit is to watch Deep Space Nine.
Deep Space Nine is really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
It's not quite up to what I'd say Next Generation is. It's way more political, and political and sort of like the intrigue and like politics, and especially it's big on like gray area moral decisions, and especially the last 2 seasons are like really heavy, and it's kind of cool because you see Cisco is not is not afraid to make some like really like unpleasant choices, and he'll break a few knees and do what he needs to do.
Mm-hmm. I just adore that all the lead characters have to have like a weird cadence to their speech. It's just kind of like you had Kirk, and he's just like, Spock, we need to. He just had that weird kind of bounce to it. Then you had Picard, who would talk, like that, and then you had Cisco, who I don't understand what you.
I don't know.
It's just like where did all these people come from that they just kind of just can't like. I was giving charge by the captain. There's just someone at Starship Command that's just like, you have a funny voice. You're promoted.
Since we're on the topic of Trek, even though I had watched it probably a year or so ago, I just rewatched it with a buddy the other day. William Shatner's The Captains. Have any of you guys seen that?
Have not.
I haven't, but
basically, The Captains is a movie that William Shatner put together where basically he goes and interviews all of the people who have played captains in Star Trek. With Patrick Stewart, Avery Brooks, I'm blanking on Janeway's name, even though it's on the tip of my tongue. Kate Mulgrew, that's it. Scott Bakula and Chris Pine. So he just goes, he travels across the world, talks to them about their role on Star Trek, what they did, how they left their mark on the series, how it relates to other people. And what it meant to them.
Did Bakula just say, I get canceled after a season? Is that what he said?
Well, they're all very interesting people. And in Bakula, they talked about, what kind of went wrong in Enterprise, and he understood, why they were kind of behind the eight ball on it. But it's more like, they're not talking about Trek so much. They're talking about like their experience and how they're actors and what Trek brought to them as an actor. And it was a really it was just interesting movie just to see, even though there was not enough Patrick Stewart in it, but his bits were all very, I'd say very personal for him. And I would highly suggest, if you like Trek and the people who are in Trek, I mean, it's on Netflix, you can stream it whenever you want. So I'd recommend looking it up.
Okay. All right. Well, go ahead.
I was just saying, my impressions, like it's what you were saying. My impression is that Patrick Stewart, like kind of off the cuff, or when he's not doing something like films, like he's always seems to be very funny and very interesting.
He is such a funny guy. I mean, okay, here's a poll. It's like, if you could be either Patrick Stewart or George Takei, if you could have the roles of either of those men, who would you choose?
Stewart.
Both of them are awesome in their own ways.
They're both awesome guys.
I would just say Picard for the gravitas for being this like great Shakespearean actor.
No, I'm not talking about them as characters, but as people.
That's what I meant. He's saying he's this Shakespearean actor, and he's a knight and all this other stuff. Yeah,
you also would have if you had the full life. If you were George Takei, you would also unfortunately have to have a period inside of the intermittent camp. So,
I like George Takei, especially like the fact that he's become this internet like presence is awesome, and I follow him and everything, and it's on Facebook and Tumblr and whatnot, and he's always got his stuff's always really funny and interesting.
I love
Remember,
that.
Kids, it's okay to be Takei.
It is.
George Takei, did he do some acting before his Facebook career? That's
Oh, I did want to leave one point on Deep Space Nine. I was actually watching this recently, and if anyone else has seen Deep Space Nine, is like one of the most entertaining parts of that show is watching Brian O'Brien's like slow degeneration over the period of the show. It's like clearly, like by the end of it, like hates his wife, his job, and his life in general.
Just get to watch a man just lose it all.
He started off so like he's on the Enterprise, and he was kind of he's one of the engineers, but everything. But he gets to Deep Space Nine, and it just starts all going to hell for him.
The Worf ends up doing all right. Like in the Next Generation, is just kind of like, hey, look, here's Worf, our security, captain. Smack, 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 smack.
Has anyone else seen the video? Have you seen the video of like Worf getting denied over and over again?
Mm-mm.
It's like a compilation of every time that Worf suggests something or does something, and he's like overruled, like, no, we'll do this. And it's like 10 minutes long.
I feel bad for Worf.
And there's that compilation video of him just getting smacked around.
All right. Dan, what have you been up to?
Oh, what have I been up to? Oh, boy. I don't know. It's been real life has been consuming things for the most part, but I mean we've been able to get some stuff done. Even though we haven't played it in a couple of weeks or so, my buddies and I were on a real kick of Risk of Rain for quite some time. Any of you guys heard of it?
Yes.
And we were just addicted. It's like we just could not stop playing it for like a week straight, and then all of a sudden we just stopped. And I think the reason why is that it's a really, really fun game because who doesn't like running around, blowing stuff up, and collecting stuff, right? I mean, it's the core of like 90% of video games. And then it's just an example where a really good concept gets bogged down by, death by a thousand paper cuts kind of thing. Like the net play. It's like old school. You got to type in IP addresses. You got to make sure your ports are all set up right. And like half the game is, doing co-op and getting everybody together. And it's like, don't you want to the game is on Steam. Don't you want to use Steamworks? I mean, make it nice and easy.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I remember having to do that crap, like, when I wanted to play, like, Warcraft 2 against my friends.
Exactly.
Get your modem going.
Exactly. It's just makes you fight it a lot, and the game needed some balance tweaks, and I haven't seen anything about patches or anything for it lately, but I think that's what killed our interest in it. It just got too hard to get a bunch of guys together and go and play it, but I still love the concept. Just running around on a timer, so the game gets progressively harder as it goes along. So the longer you play the game, the more enemies spawn and the more difficult they get. And so you have to kind of balance, well, I want to grind out some money or some items versus we got to beat the level quickly because if we don't, it's just going to get harder and harder. It's really addictive, but it was one of those things where I just kind of fell out of it pretty quickly.
You got Smooth McGroove.
We talked about Smooth McGroove a little bit, although it was probably mostly plugging last week just because we had to bump it. But yeah, we were talking about last week. Smooth McGroove, he's a great guy. He does a cappella remixes of video game songs, and he's just a really cool guy. And I downloaded a whole bunch of his albums and been playing it in the car. And I've even been able to get some of my non-game playing friends to listen to it. You tell us it's just one guy overdubbing himself repeatedly. And they're like, okay, and then they give it a shot, and then they find out that they like it, So, I mean, I saw somebody in the chat talking earlier about, we should link, OC Remix and stuff. Everybody knows about OC Remix, but Smooth McGroove, he's still getting out there. We need more people to listen to him.
All right, good deal. And Roger, what do you got?
Oh, that's right. I have to
yeah, you got to contribute to this.
You're on the spot, man.
Oh, damn. Lately I have been, I don't know. I've been doing a whole bunch, my life's kind of scattered right now. I just graduated, and I'm back at home for the moment. But,
what's your degree in?
Environmental science.
Oh.
Yeah. And, but the one thing I would recommend, I guess it's not really gaming or anything, but it's a book that that my brother got me to read, and he like swears up and down by this, or how good it is, and I've been totally blown away with it. It's a book called The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie, and it came out like a couple of years ago, but it's the first book in a trilogy, and it's a fantasy series, but it's very like atypical and very subversive of the fantasy genre. And I guess the best way to describe it is like it's gritty, but it's also very like nihilistic. Mm-hmm. Because the book follows these four characters, like these four main characters, and their stories kind of slowly intertwine, and it follows like they each have these different positions in this like fictional empire, and it's really it's a really great book. The writing is absolutely fantastic, and I would say it's funny, but it's not like a humorous book. One of the best characters in it is this guy he's an inquisitor. So he tortures people for a living, and like he's like an interrogator, and he's got this like he kind of alternates between what he's saying and his internal monologue, and he's just got this absolutely like grim like view of the world and his life and how horrible his life really is, and he's constantly questioning like, why am I doing this? and it kind of alternates between that and then him trying to navigate this kind of like really unpleasant, like really dirty fantasy world that he's in. Mm-hmm. And it's always really interesting. And there's a very good audiobook of it on Audible, and the narrator for that is absolutely fantastic. And like an example of some of the effort the guy put into doing the narration for this, the Inquisitor character, at some point he was tortured and like he's like horribly crippled, and he's got a whole bunch of his teeth missing. And so when the guy doing the audiobook, when it's him speaking, he speaks with this very distinct lisp. But whenever it switches to the Inquisitor character thinking, it's his normal voice.
Huh.
It's like totally clear. And it's really, really well done. And it's one of those like the series is like it's like going right from the beginning. It's a total page turner. It's really interesting, and it's one of those ones that you can sit back and appreciate just like how well written it is. It's really snappy. And as I said, it's very, like the characters are all kind of tropes. They're each of them are like a cliched character in the fantasy genre, but they're very much like subverted, and they each kind of go in these different directions. It's really interesting.
And what was that again? The
book is called The Blade Itself, and it's by Joe Abercrombie. I said you can also there's an audiobook of it on Audible, I think. So.
That definitely sounds something that's really interesting. Like having to pull that off and get it, and yeah, that entire bit of like making sure that he has that lisp. That sounds awesome. So
it's just like the way everything is described in the book is so like visceral, and it's like there's these great like really well written scenes of like fights, and they're so like intense and nasty, and it's like, oh, it's great read.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, cool. Anything else, or has that just been the majority of?
As always, you can I'm always plugging my role playing game, and whatnot. I am, without saying too much, I am working on something with the hopes of getting it published.
Woo!
So look for something about that, or at least the beginnings of that in the next coming months.
Okay, cool. That'd be. We know some people we could get that published up on.
I know a guy.
I know a surf something. Some. If anything, I know that those people that like the horse things will buy things if it is available. So
exactly.
All right, cool. All right, well, let's go ahead and move this. Let's talk about the news. What's been going on in the world of geeky and nerdy and fun stuff with the fun things that we like.
With the fun and the stuff and the things.
All right.
And
so, Jeremy, what we got here?
I got a few things. Comics and superhero movies and Sanic.
Oh, God. All right.
So, I actually had prepared some of this from last week and then some of it this week. So, Archie, fresh after doing their Sonic and Mega Man crossovers.
Gross.
They're crossing over Mega Man and Mega Man X.
Sonic X, Mega Man X, Mega Man.
Sonic, Mega Man X, Mega Man X.
XX.
Mega Sonic
X.
Man X.
Sonic.
The Sonic and Mega Man crossover gave us perhaps the greatest comic cover of all time, which is Dr. Wily and Dr. Eggman riding on a tandem bicycle, clinking little, what we must assume are alcoholic beverages together as they have successfully conquered Sonic and Mega Man. It's like they're going by, and in your head you have the turtles so happy together.
Yep.
Going on in your head.
Is it better? Is it really better than the original Mega Man cover, like the infamous one? The one he looks kind of like George Bush, and there's like golden asses growing out of the ground.
Is you mean the original like box?
Yes, the very original.
No, it has nothing. That is in a completely different. No, it is definitely better than that.
I like to imagine that was like something from DeviantArt that somehow like fell backwards in time, and they're like, "Yeah, let's put this on the cover."
There was a Konami fighting remix where they actually brought back like the old style Mega Man, like he was that kind of weirdly portly. Like
Bad
large
box art Mega Man.
Bad box art Mega Man. That was Street Fighter Cross Tekken, and was just only one of the awful things about that game.
Wow, that is amazing. Yes, we've finally done it.
By the way, his name's Robotnik, and I will accept nothing less.
As opposed to what?
Eggman.
Oh.
Well, it's like it's different it's like he's clearly depicted as Eggman there, as opposed to like earlier incarnations. Where
I know.
I'm not even a Sonic fan. I'm just trying to.
I know. It's just a dumb goddamn name.
It is a dumb name. I will not deny that.
It's Japanese. They don't have to explain anything.
For those who did not know, I just linked it in the chat.
Yep. It's out there. It's pretty fantastic. So yeah, they're gonna do a Mega Man and Mega Man X, which, if I'm correct, Mega Man has always been the lighter toned, hey, kind of yay, Mega Man woo, and Mega Man X has always been like the dark brooding other brother.
The dark brooding humanity is dead, and it's all Dr. Light's fault.
Riding on cars, diddly diddly doo.
Yeah, it's kind of the Shadow the Hedgehog. Comparatively,
it wasn't always that way though, because like original Mega Man X, which I still think is the best Mega Man game that was ever made, it didn't get that far into it, but they just realized and said, well, we've kind of made the best game already, and it's all downhill from here. What are we gonna do? Let's just make it crazy.
Dr. Wily, we have to get to Euro.
Guts
Oh
Man.
boy.
Like,
Oh, boy.
What is the game that was kickstarted? Mighty Number 9?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't even like platformers, and that looks cool.
Yeah.
I mean, Mighty Number 9 is great because it's basically Mega Man with the serial numbers filed off, and we're all okay with that.
Yes, exactly.
Well, because Konami has pretty much said that they were just like, we're not going to make those anymore. Or Capcom, sorry. I'll get beaten for that later. Capcom has pretty much said, we're not interested in making those anymore. And pretty much the team responsible for that went, okay, well, here's our 2 weeks notice. Bye!
Yep, Keiji Inafune is like, okay, well, I'm going to go make more Mega Man with the serial numbers filed off.
It's really a shame how they treated Inafune when he left Capcom, just because, I mean, he was a real big part of the core spirit of that company. I mean, without a lot of projects that he worked on, they wouldn't really be going anywhere. But it's a case where even without Inafune around, Capcom has just been spinning its wheels. It's like they don't seem to know what to do other than, doing a new Street Fighter every year.
Mm-hmm.
What, you're not excited for Super Mega Ultra Street Fighter 5?
Oh, no, trust me, we're all excited for Ultra, okay? When Ultra comes out, it's going to fix because, I mean, as you guys know, I love Street Fighter, but let's be honest here. A company cannot be Street Fighter alone.
Yeah, and they're, the whole, they've kind of let Resident Evil stop, even though, 6 was kind of awful.
Well, they kind of needed it to
gone off
stop.
the rails.
3 was kind of not that good apparently.
And the less said about what they did to my Bionic Commando, the better.
He has a very personal,
The remix was okay, I heard.
Rearmed?
Yeah, Rearmed.
But the Bionic Commando, the one that they relaunched, the 3D one with the
sad thing is that Bionic Commando 09, the game like this, you cannot beat the swinging gameplay. It is so good, but it's like another one of those death by 1,000 paper cuts thing. They didn't know what they were doing, and so they said, we built this great mechanic, but we don't really have a good game to put around it, so they just went and did whatever the hell they wanted. And as much as I love that game, I know it is deeply flawed.
Mm-hmm. All right. And then, so Archie Comics is making a Mega Man and Mega Man X crossover.
Go buy it.
Capcom is like, hey, we want to try to stay in business, please. Oh, God.
Please buy our thing. Batman and Superman, it's a thing, too. I'm talking more about crossovers.
DC is going, oh, God, we really, really, really want to do a DC cinematic universe like Marvel. Marvel is swimming in cash. They got bought by Disney. Oh, my God. Yeah, good luck with that.
Well, they have Ben Affleck as Batman. I can hear Sabrina screaming in her mind from the other room.
I mean, I don't really feel that Ben Affleck as Batman is that bad of a casting choice.
Yeah, I mean,
give him a chance.
Well, here's my thing. I think he makes a good suave Batman. Like he does the hey, I'm a playboy.
The Michael Keaton Batman.
Yeah, he does that a lot better. Whereas Christian Bale was always just like whatever.
My parents are implied to be dead.
I never took him to be like, I'm such a playboy. The times when he was trying to be like smooth always came off as like, just like, oh, hi, look how smooth I am. Don't you like me? Like, no.
I just think people like to rag on Ben, but I mean, have you guys seen The Town?
No.
I have not.
Okay, I do highly suggest watching it just because it gives you I mean, if as someone who lives in that general area and is quite familiar with Boston and things like that, I feel like it's a really good movie in terms of seeing just how corrupt that area was. It's basically saying, this is kind of like what Whitey and everybody else did back in the day. And Ben, as the main character, he really, really knocked it out of the park. And he did a lot on that movie. He didn't he direct and write a lot of it too, I think. So it just goes to show that people like to rag on Ben because of his wife, which is unfortunate because I mean that's kind of a petty thing to do, I think.
Oh yeah.
But they say oh, Ben, just doing his Kevin Smith movies, from back in the day, whatever. But I think he has potential.
I think he's fine. I mean, he's definitely had his share of good and bad movies. I think that he probably got hyped too hard, too fast, and it caused people to backlash against him.
Yeah.
But I don't see him as being, as god-awful terrible as a lot of people want to scream about. He's just a well-known name, and I think my guess is if it would have been a lesser name that no one knew about, like nobody knew who did who was Superman and Man of Steel. I mean, he was known, but the wider audience had no clue about him. You say Ben Affleck, and then it's just like, oh yeah, Ben Affleck, I know him. He's Benifer.
One Daredevil does not a bad career make.
Exactly.
That's my thing. He already played a superhero.
It doesn't matter.
And I'm tired of them picking famous people to play Batman. I want somebody new.
So
he was Superman.
I want them to stop making.
He was great in Armageddon.
And besides, if we're using the one superhero rule, then the guy that played Green Lantern is out. But he's going to be one of the Fantastic Four. So
how'd that happen? I thought we already had a Fantastic Four.
Yeah, well, they're trying to do it again because we need to milk every single franchise we can. They're doing Masters of the Universe. There's going to be a squirrel with a raccoon with guns, okay?
No, Guardians of the Galaxy. Masters of the Universe would be another He-Man movie.
Sorry, I don't know.
I'm sorry.
They already did one of those in like 1989.
Yeah, but there's going to be one of those. There's going to be a raccoon with guns.
See, I'm already...
The fact that Rocket Raccoon's going to be in a movie astounds me.
Yep.
I'm already preemptively rolling my eyes for the Avengers 2 because I hated the first one so much.
Yeah, see, but to add to this, let's say looking over it, they also announced a Wonder Woman played by Gal Gadot, or Gal Gadot, and yeah, check this out, sweetie. She looks good in this. I think she's going to do a great job on it.
I think it's a crime that Wonder Woman has not gotten a movie yet in the modern reboot era.
Yeah, I guess the trick they're gonna be all they're like, oh, I don't know, female lead, this could be risky.
Oh, they always do that, and it's the dumbest, stupid stuff.
It's bogus.
It is, and that's why. But that's why.
It's always the stuff of like female action figures never sell. Yeah.
Which is also bogus. I mean, this gets me so mad because you tell me that if you make a good Wonder Woman movie, that people will not go out and see it. That just does not make any sense. People love Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if we made Aquaman, he's a dude and he's going to be more popular, obviously.
But no one likes Aquaman.
Not even Aquaman likes
Brave
Aquaman.
and the Bold Aquaman is awesome. If they gave him his own movie, that would also be awesome.
Hey, Dan, you want to come on and talk about the travesty of Young Justice?
Oh, boy.
There's a rant and a half there.
We're just going to have this revolving door.
That much of Young Justice, but what happened to that show was also a shame. And, did you guys address what Dwayne McDuffie was?
No.
Not Dwayne. Paul Dini when he was on Fat Man on Batman. I think that was like a month ago.
Yeah, it was pretty recently in the past.
Oh yeah, I think
Yeah.
we did cover that somewhat.
We did cover it a little bit, but that's something we could probably go into more in depth.
I think you could get a whole show out of that kind of subject.
I think
yeah.
that seems like a great subject. We should probably have. I'm trying to remember the blog, but they'll probably get the writer from the Mary Sue. That would actually be really great to have on.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be a great discussion to have, because I do believe the same thing of just like, it's stupid that there's still this ingrained thought that female characters just have to be kind of secondary, even if in today's world they can be really, really damn cool. There's been nothing but, tons and tons of signs that that's totally changed, but
and
old
this
white
kind of
men.
dovetails into what we're going to talk about later too.
Sure.
I was just like, I think it was either on Kotaku or Jezebel, and someone had made this like concept art for the idea of like a reboot for Wonder Woman's, like her outfit, and it was like, that was awesome. Like the person who drew that, and it totally like, yeah, they could make a really great movie out of this.
All right, well let's move forward a little bit. Turtle power.
Turtle power, yeah. IDW is going, hey, these mini comic packs are pretty good. They're selling pretty well. Ponies. Oh, hey, what else can we do? Oh, yeah, Ninja Turtles. It's kind of popular. So they're adding Ninja Turtles to their essentially blind bag comics.
Which is a great idea.
And again, I mean, what it's doing is getting comics into the toy aisles and trying to boost readership of their toyetic properties. I'm sure eventually they'll probably do it with Transformers. They'll probably do it with G.I. Joe. What other toyetic lines do they have that are active? Because I know they have...
IDW has so many properties.
They really do, but like Ghostbusters doesn't have anything active.
Look at that Krang.
Could probably do it with Trek.
Yeah?
That
Yeah.
Krang is crazy.
Yeah, Krang's redesign is kind of weird. It's same kind of brain in a suit, except the suit is scrawny and humanoid instead of giant dude with a Y on his head. But I mean, their Shredder just isn't up to snuff.
I mean, have you guys been watching the new CG TMNT that's been on the air?
Nope.
I have not.
Okay, I would highly suggest that you do, because it has, as somebody who was one of those Ninja Turtle fans from way back in the day when I was 6 years old and I had to have everything that was Ninja Turtles.
Oh, I was right there with you.
They somehow managed to take it where they homage the original stuff, take what was good about the original, and still take what else was good about the series that followed it. Because the 2003 series I thought it was a good series, but, at some points I felt it got a little too serious. But they still managed to have that nice blend of serious and funny, and all of it has just been very, very good so far. I would highly recommend that if you like Turtles to check out the new series.
Yeah. It was one of those things that Sibsy recently, it's like she buys a new lunchbox gear, she picked up a Ninja Turtle one for this year.
Yeah. The Krang in that in the new TMNT show, the Krang is not just one alien, but it's like the species known as the Krang. And I don't want to give it away, but the way that the Krang act is just completely hilarious.
Huh.
Are the Krang like an evil version of the Trill from Star Trek?
No, they're sentient.
Okay. All right, so that's out there. So the micro fun packs. CCGs are the hotness right now.
Yeah, they're doing an Adventure Time one.
I think... Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
Well, I think it's funny that they're doing an Adventure Time card-playing game, considering they had an entire episode about people who play card-playing games and basically making fun of them.
I flipped the pig.
Sure. It's,
As a CCG player, I've tried to avoid playing the pony one.
I have 2 decks right over there. Would you like to touch them play the? All right, we're good. But let's see. This is by Cryptozotic Games. Upcoming release of Adventure Time Card Wars game. Let's see. You can play in the Card Wars episode with titles of Cool Guy and Dweeb on the line. Let's see.
It just seems so bizarre and meta that they are making a actual trading card game out of the card game in the show. That it's just so weird.
How is it any weirder than the fact that they made like a Buzz Lightyear animated series when like Buzz Lightyear was meant to be like a cliche in the story?
It's only weird because they were using that card game as a metaphor to point out problems with people who play those games. It just seems so weird that they're actually going to make the game, and they will be now enacting what was going on in that episode in real life from people who just can't stand losing.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems very funny in an ironic way to me.
And Cryptozoic has done. They did like the Street Fighter deck building game, the Hawken real-time card game, which aren't games in real time. I mean,
real-time card, like there's no turn order, you just play cards.
You're just like throwing cards. Oh yeah, I'm throwing missiles in the trap.
I don't know. Pick up, draw
funny,
deck,
just
throw, draw deck, win.
Well, I mean, there's like Dutch
It's literally
Blitz.
52 pickup with stuff on it.
They also done some DC Comics stuff.
They're gonna
So yeah, these guys do this kind of card game, and they also did things like Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring deck building game, Batman Arkham City, some Walking Dead crap.
Now I'm thinking about that, and now I'm just thinking of like the world's most ridiculous card game where you just pick like 10 cards off of the top, slam them down on the table, flip them over, and then you figure out who won. Like, it's just, there's nothing to it. You're just like, draw, flump. All right, you won. Draw. All right, I won.
There's that game Dutch Blitz, which is a lot of fun, and that's one where you can play at any time, and it leads to a lot of like people slapping each other's wrists.
What's that classic game where where you had to grab the card out of the middle, so everybody's hand tried to reach for this deck at the same time? I forget what it is. It was like a classic game where everybody would grab cards. There would be, if a card you needed was in the middle, you could just lunge and grab for it, and whoever's hand was on top of it is the one who eventually got it. Like it's a crazy like little reaction game. So
my thing with the pony CCG is like the chances of it being any good at all are like slim to nil, and I only say that because most CCGs are bad.
It's okay. I mean, in terms of a game, it's okay. The problem is that it's just, for the audience that it's going for, it's just overly complicated.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I've got the decks I could show you. It goes together well. The starter decks are balanced against the starter decks, and that's it. Like, the moment you get more cards, you've immediately empowered yourself to destroy any starter deck you ever come across.
Oh yeah.
Well, the game is trying to serve two masters, and I think that's why it is failing.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Well, not necessarily failing, but is exhibiting a considerable amount of problems when played at both levels. You know, it's like you can enjoy it in one way, but you know, I'm not sure if I would want to try playing it with my niece, because, I mean, admittedly, she is very good at games, but I'm just not sure. It really is complicated. There's a lot of stuff going on in this game.
I also think this it could have been, I think, a better model in terms of for making a My Little Pony CCG or card game would have been to go the LCG route, which like if anyone plays Android Netrunner, which is a fantastic game. Mm-hmm. But the idea that it's like you buy a box set, and you know exactly what's in it. It's a set number of cards, these set specific cards.
Yeah, I've had similar Thunderstone. I've played that as well.
I've heard that's good too.
It's really fun. It's kind of neat just to be like every single game. There's going to be different tools and equipment. A friend of ours has a game night that I'm probably going to do later on in this month, and it's fun just to be like. You know, it's just a collectible card game, but, you know, you don't have to worry about anybody's deck being completely overpowered. So it's really fun. All right, so that's Adventure Time cards.
I can hear the dread just oozing from AC as this next one comes up.
I'm just annoyed, like, the stream is, like, a few seconds behind what I'm actually doing. So, like, I'll do something, and then I get to watch myself, and it's like, oh, this is awkward. Everyone can see all of my, like, Slavoj Žižek, like, gesticulations. I can talk like this.
You're just gonna be this rigid plank of a person.
Yeah. Just, what do you have to say about this?
Thank God I'm not on camera.
Yeah. All right, what's this thing?
Sonic Boom.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all we need to say about it.
So yeah, they've relaunched Sanic
Gross.
again.
You're in the
Gross.
third half of the show.
And they'll do it right this time.
Gross. Oh yeah, I've broken the Sonic cycle. I am free.
So there's multiple links in the doc this week. The TV trailer, the game trailer, the link to the actual Sega blog post about it, and then of course the link to the actual song Sonic Boom that was featured on the Sega CD opening. Only one of these is actual news. So yeah, they're relaunching Sonic, and everybody has bandages on them, and Amy's given sexy eyes to Sanic, and
Knuckles is doing roids.
Thing is, Knuckles has done roids and skipped leg day like every day. He skipped every leg day. So it's
bandaged.
Because
who's
bandage.
doing this.
It's now post-apocalyptic furry.
I was thinking, like, are they all like boxing?
Steampunk.
It's like a Rocky
So
or something.
let's see, Uido
So-
Productions.
You guys watched the trailer, right?
No.
Yes, I have watched the
The TV show trailer.
I watched the TV trailer and the game trailer.
So, why exactly is Sonic concerned that Tails' plane is crashing? Can't he just jump out of it and fly away?
Momentary cartoon logic there.
It's so funny. Maybe that's the joke.
That's the joke.
Let's see. I'm trying to find out what else.
I like sad defeated Sonic right there. That amuses me.
The middle one.
Yeah.
And the sad thing is
What
that
evil hath I wrought?
the cycle is like, you can believe just by looking at these stills and things. So like, okay, all right, they're thinking, they're trying. You look at the background art and you go like, that's fantastic. Like, that looks good. And if you just follow down this path, you'll give yourself that glimmer of hope, that little seed of hope that begins to blossom into a tiny flower that then Sega will take their giant massive boot and step on top of.
Just replace it with the infertile soil of cynicism.
Yeah, you don't trust Sega.
Do not believe their lies.
Do not believe their lies.
Right there, yeah, tattoo that on your arm. You'll wake up and you're suddenly playing a Sonic game like, what am I doing? Why am I playing this?
What's weird is
This is
Uido is a French animation studio that has done like pretty much nothing else. Their previous big claim to CG fame was doing those awful Alvin and the Chipmunks movies.
Gross.
So that's like pedigree? What pedigree? We're mongrels from the start.
I just got this terrible thought of just like you end up just sitting down in front of yourself reading this blog for Sega stuff, and you're just like, I'm not gonna care about it. You look in your arm, there's a black mark. You look back up, there's like 5 more. It's like, oh god, no! It's like the silence all over again, but with Sonic crap.
The black spot on your hand.
I gotta get out of here.
I mean, I was never like a hardcore Sonic fan, although because I never had a Sega, so I never played Sonic games. My only real exposure was the TV series, both of them from back in the day. So it's like I guess I'm more of like an arm's length kind of thing. It's like, oh yeah, I kind of remember that from back then, and I never really paid attention to anything else. But I understand AC's pain over something like this. It's like me with Bionic Commando. It's like, please leave it dead. Don't bring it back. Everybody's screwing it up.
There was that wonderful period of time in 1994 where they had the games, and the games were pretty good, and they had that TV show that was dark and interesting, and those were good times. And then let's just razor this away until we're just scraping against nothing.
Yeah. And one fun little bit to notice is that for some unfathomable reason, the game trailer has Skrillex in it.
Oh.
I mean, it's
I can
bad
fathom
enough when it's in like shooting games and Battlefield or Modern Warfare, you know, Call of Duty. But Sanic?
I'm just
Now
not
like a new
yeah.
cod piece, yeah.
I'm gonna hear that as cow-eye duty. It's just like,
How long did
that's
you stay up thinking of that one?
gun that shoots cute cats.
Oh, man.
Cow-eye duty.
I would, yeah. this is
Well, at least they're only focusing on 4 characters. It's not like they have, you know, Charmy or that alligator.
Get
or
ready, Big the cat.
Big the cat or Blaze
Oh,
or the
fucking
green
Big
bird.
the cat. Oh my god. What are you
And-
idiots doing?
And
Oh god.
They just include everybody from Heroes for some reason.
They just they would immediately draw my like praise if just the first opening shot was just a mounted head of Shadow just on a wall somewhere, and then just like done, we've killed them all,
and nothing of value was lost.
like we've killed them all.
Just wait.
Ugh.
So hey, the Lego Movie. It's really actually good.
Yeah. It's gotten. Let's see, we're at a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I'm not going to
With
believe it.
115 total reviews.
Yeah.
I feel like I should go. I've been planning on seeing it because it's done by the Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs people, who's a lot of names that people might be familiar with because they used to work on Clone High and for Cartoon Network and stuff like that. So I'm not that surprised that it's actually good.
I still, like, I think we were talking
Well, they
about
have
it
Morgan
earlier.
Freeman as God. I mean,
Yes.
that's you can't go wrong
That
with
is
that.
correct.
Is that the second time that he's played God?
At least because there was the oh god, what is the one with Steve Carell? And then
God, I know what you're talking about. I can't think
Well,
of
they
the
had
name.
Bruce Almighty and
Bruce
then they had
Almighty.
Evan Almighty.
Yeah, there
That
you
one,
go.
yeah.
Those
Morgan
two.
Freeman.
Greetings, I am God.
Actually, I think, Dan, I think we talked about that earlier. Where, like, I want them to have that gag where Wonder Woman has her invisible jet and it's made out of the clear blocks.
Yes. Hopefully, I mean, did they do that? I've only seen like one trailer for it. I've kind of kept myself not in the know.
Gotta go in fresh.
It looks really, I mean, it does look really good. I never was much of a Lego person to begin with, but I mean, just based off of how the movie looks like, it doesn't really seem like you even need to be. I mean, you just have, hey, do you like things? This is a movie about things.
Well, that's when, like, people, like, the process of enjoying Legos is very different than enjoying a movie.
Yeah.
Well, it's like everybody, if you had Legos, you always did that. It's like, oh, I've got my little dudes and little gals, and I've made my town, and like this one's a teacher, and here's the police officer, and you go and you have all your little Lego fights. It's basically some kid having their big Lego fight on the big screen. I mean, that's my understanding of what it's going to be. So it should be, even if you're not really a Lego person, you know, it's just the media. It's a movie whose medium is Lego, much like a movie whose medium is stop motion for like Coraline, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this says too much about me, but I remember when I had bunch of Legos as a kid, and my favorite thing was having ranks of like knights and soldiers and stuff in like, and I had them on the little like rectangular flat pieces so you can move them as units and stuff.
Yes.
So you were having your fake little Warhammer battles?
I was playing Medieval Total War before it came out.
There you go. Move the troop. I just now imagine you in just Napoleonic just armor, just
like
with the stick, just moving it. Move the troops forward.
Yeah, that does sound like something he would do.
I've seen the cavalry. I don't even know what accent I'm doing. I'm just.
You're trying
I'm
very
trying.
hard.
My
to
Lego spearmen are breaking. Their morale is failing.
Have them driven before you. All right.
Hear the lamentation of their blocks.
Absolutely. All right, let's see what else we got here. Oh, wow, we got some more stuff that's filtered
Yeah, people
in.
add some stuff, but I'm kind of like, Wolf Among Us Episode 2 came out.
That's another Telltale game.
Haven't played it.
Yeah, I don't know much about it. I don't know how the reviews have been for the original, but if it's anything like the Walking Dead game, that was. Oh, I haven't even like done the DLC or gotten the second part. I kind of just went that first one. Whew. Oh boy, the first Walking Dead game was one of those things where it's like that wrapped up exactly how I wanted. I'm just gonna step back now. Ugh,
Yeah.
that's such a bleak. I understand that
I mean,
universe
it's
is supposed
The
to be
Walking
bleak.
Dead.
I know it's supposed to be bleak, but every once in a while I wouldn't mind just kind of like the holodeck episode, just to make you remember that everything can be okay every once in a while.
Nope.
Super Bowl happened.
Transformers 4.
We can't say the Super Bowl. The big game happened.
Yes, no trademark infringement here.
Can't say that. Somebody
The game.
Yeah, the big game, which was an absolute boring.
I disagree
waste of time.
entirely.
It's great if you're a Seattle fan because you got to sit there for 2 hours and go, "Oh, we got this."
I'm not a Seattle fan, but I always enjoy it when Peyton Manning gets a good beat down.
Yeah, so, yeah, that was relatively. I mean, we were sitting there in we in the Bay. We were all just watching, and it was just a few Bronco fans and nobody is Seattle, and pretty much everybody just left the TV by the second half. Just to be like, hey, we're just gonna stand over here and talk for a while. There's no reason to pay attention to the TV. But yeah, there was this Transformers 4 Age of Extinction where Marky Mark is now telling us about Transformers. I couldn't care less.
And you have Optimus Prime riding on Grimlock.
Okay.
I mean, that's their, throwing stuff at the wall, trying to see if it'll stick. They're like, hey guys, Optimus Prime, he's riding Grimlock, yeah, and he's got a sword and a shield. Isn't that what you want? Yeah. Are you gonna come see our movie now?
It doesn't matter. It's still going to make $1 billion. Like, it doesn't matter. No, Transformers has gone above actually ever needing to be an actually good movie. Like, it can just be shiny robots punching each other with zero plot the entire time through, and people would eat it up as if it was custard.
And it's like, even if the robots are racist, like in the second one, like, yeah, people will watch it, sure.
We don't care.
Put it up there.
It was Transformers. The movies have... The movies had their chance to like. I never really cared or watched much of the original Transformers, and the Shia LaBeouf series Transformers did a total of 0 to rope me in. So the continuation of the hey, let's film all of these battles way too close so you can't actually see anything style. No thanks, I'll pass.
See, if you just want big robots fighting, like, watch Pacific Rim.
I did, and it was awesome.
That was a movie that delivered exactly what it promised.
Ooh. Picks up that ship. Swings the ship.
Yeah.
Whoa. All right.
Oh no, I didn't see it.
I need to take it. I hope that they do another run so I can take Starry out to go see it in the 3Dist. Amazing Spider-Man 2, Electro, yo.
God, that looks so bad.
Don't care.
Sly Cooper, maybe?
Might be cool.
Could be.
We'll see.
So.
I sent you an email with sent you a link for my plug.
Your plug. You got a plug.
Just a link to Amazon. It's on the email. Anyway.
Oh, I'll have to find that.
I got it.
Okay. Well, what is it?
Oh, it's the Amazon link to the book I was talking about.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's tell you what. Let's go ahead. They'll probably take care of us for this hour of this. So thank you, everyone. We'll come back and talk about Steven Universe in just a second. But first, let's go ahead and wrap this up. We'll be back in just a little bit, but if you want to find out right now, FU is over at BronyShow.com, BronyvillePodcast.com. If you want to email this show as well, that's Bronyville@gmail.com. Roughly every Saturday, noon Pacific, we're on here at Justin.tv/BronyvillePodcast. iTunes reviews, we love them. My Twitter account is at Bronyville.
Mine's Asher Sandy.
And we're going to be doing the BabsCon thing very shortly, so we'll do that. All right, and we let me go ahead and change out the recording. We'll get to part 2 of this. Those listening to this after the fact will catch that on the next episode.
In the third half of the show.
Yeah, and then the second half of the show. And after intermission, we will talk about Steven Universe and go into details on that. So yeah, we'll go ahead and catch you on the next episode of FU. See you later, guys.
Stay frosty.
Adios.
You're all free now! Yeah!